Hello, my name is George, and this is the first episode of Exakta Rescue. There you go. Okay, it's a very slow-paced video series of me buying, repairing, and restoring Exakta and Exa cameras. I have been collecting EHG cameras for the last 10 to 12 years, and I gained at least some know-how on, how things work. I can give you some useful tips and just stuff I like to share, because there isn't really much, especially much technical information on YouTube about Exakta cameras. So this is what this is all about. Now in this episode, in this first episode, I went a little bit overboard, and it turned out to be over 3.5 hours. After cutting and editing, it was actually about 5 hours. So it's all because I took a so-called scrap Exakta II, and we did so many modifications on it. The winder had some issues, and the leather was bad, and it was just in a very scrap condition. So actually, in fact, while I'm doing this intro, I actually disassembled it again, because I decided to do a new video on using non-original leather for people who actually want to change the leather, not preserve it. But in this video, we're going to actually preserve the original leather. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I included a lot of scenes of me actually making mistakes, and do just simple troubleshooting, simply trying to understand how things work basically in that particular camera. So you can get the logic behind doing mechanical repairs, because once you understand how things work, you don't really need any YouTube tutorials or whatever to fix your cameras. So, and especially the crowd of people who can actually fix Exakta cameras, well, that crowd is very, very small. I know people sending their cameras to to other countries in order to get them fixed. So once you get the grip on a couple of cameras, I think you should be able to learn. I'll try my best to explain things very slowly, and so you can gradually improve. It's probably the worst camera for a first video, but in this video we're going to disassemble the camera first. We're going to basically have an overview on what's wrong with the camera. We're going to deal with a faulty winder and with a faulty winder mechanism. We're going then to polish the camera. We're going to give it a paint job and much more. And just a note before we begin, whenever you do any modifications on a camera, especially using non-original parts or non-original leather or anything else which is not authentic, if you sell it, you should definitely let the buyer know that you did those modifications, because serious Exakta collectors, they do like their things to be completely 100% original. Okay, so if you, for example, if you put some new leather on the camera, serious collectors, they will know, right, when they see the camera. Sorry, it's a fixed focus lens, it's a non-automatic lens. Anyway, they will know. They will know that the leather, for example, is not original. Or if you painted, for example, this part black with, for example, with this paint over here, that we're also going to do in the video, they will also notice. So always be honest about the modifications you did. If it's just a camera you're going to use as a hobby, not going to resell, then go for it. Do everything we're doing in this video today. But if you're going to get some scrap cameras, try to fix them off in order to resell them, it's not going to work out, because serious collectors will know what you have done, even if you don't tell them. So in general, just be ethical. If you do any even if you do simple repairs, it's always good to have a log, so you know, okay, this camera has this and this repair, and to let people know if you're going to sell the camera. In our case, this is a camera I'm never going to sell. It's just basically for this first episode. I bought a couple of scrap cameras, and just decided to do the first episode of this series of restoring and just fixing up old Exakta cameras. So I'm not going to sell it. and but the work we're doing on this camera is going to be very useful for you. So anyway, that's me. Have fun, and if you have any questions, just write it in the comments to my 22 followers or whatever I have. I got two new cameras. I got an Exakta II and a Kine over here. And they're both in very bad condition. I haven't opened them yet, I just got them basically in the mail. But the reason why I'm collecting cameras which are kind of like in a bad place, here are some examples. For example, this camera looks completely like shit, right? It's almost unusable. The winder doesn't work. I haven't opened it up yet. But spare parts, and sometimes they come with good glass, so we can use this. Basically, you buy, you know, if you can get them for like, I don't know, $30, $40, $50. I think it's still a bargain, because inside, I mean, everything is a spare part. This is a spare part. This is a spare part, right? Obviously, we can't do anything with this one here. It's already way too bad. This is a 6 series, so basically a after the war, and as you can see, the quality after the war, especially for the export, was very, very bad. But for example, this shield here, this upper shield, is usable. We could use that with a different camera. For example, here we have another one, again from the same timeline. Also, I think this is a 6 something, and again it looks like shit. This is unsolvable, like this is unsavable, unfortunately. The leather is bad, but I believe this was the one which actually worked. Yes, obviously the spring is broken, but the shutter is working. So you can, like if you forget just about the outside, obviously you could, for example, if you have a camera with a very good outside, and you have one with a very bad outside but with a working inside, you could swap them out theoretically, and you just have to make sure that you keep everything original, meaning that you don't swap out different types of models. Like you have to stay within the same model. For instance, this is I believe a 6.1 or a 6.2. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, that's a 6.29. So basically, this camera is from the last production, right, before the Exakta II, and this camera here. Oh my God, look at this! Somebody DIY'd this. This is a 6.439, which is basically the same badge, just a little later. As you can see, they look absolutely identical on the inside, and even if you open them up, you'll see that it's basically almost always using the same parts, even though after the war we had some cameras that didn't use the complete same parts, but that's a different story. But in general, I think it's always worth it to pick those up and just collect them, you know, for spare parts, or you never know. I mean, you really never know. For instance, let's put this back. I'll just show you two more, and then we go ahead with the new cameras I got. Very corroded. For instance, here we have a very, that's actually an earlier model. That's actually a 4.9 or 4.8. So basically, it's a pre-war model, one of the actually best models to get, and it's in perfect condition. The leather is in perfect condition. Front shield is a little worn out, but it's still, I mean, this is still beautiful. It's not as bad as this one, right? And this is actually a perfect camera from the outside. The leather here is perfect. The viewfinder is okay, and the only problem with this camera is obviously this part over here. I don't know why we have only an issue here, and the camera doesn't work for whatever reason. I need to open it up, and there's this thing inside. You'll see it later when we open up eventually one of the newer cameras. But again, perfect outside, bad inside that has to be repaired. So it's a little bit like Lego. Sometimes you just have to get a few cameras and then just figure out what's working, what's not working. And as long as it's in the same, again, as long as it's in the same badge, like the same type, the same version, I think it's okay to exchange parts in order to make them working again. But don't start replacing those tags. For example, this one is a pre-war Exakta, right? And it would come only with a K, so basically Exakta written with a K. But as you can see, we have only, those ones are from the post-war batch, so those are written with the C. Those are all export Exakta. So you could not, for example, take this this top sign over here and put it on this camera, because for once the material is not the same. After the war, the material was very, very bad they have used, and as you can see here, and for example this and this is not even the same material. I think this is just normal, I don't know how to call this in English. It's in German, it's Blech. It's like the cheapest of the cheapest materials you could use. Well, this is I think messing, but before you had, well, you just had different materials, so you cannot just take this and then place it over here. It wouldn't work. It's just different, and people would find out. So again, if you're swapping out stuff, make sure it's from the same batch, from the same time, from the same period. Here we have another one that's also a 6 something. That's a 639. So basically, it's the same period like the ones over here. So theoretically, for example, I don't know if this one is working. Let's see. Yes, this one is actually working. So this has a good interior and a more or less, well, kind of worn out exterior. But as you notice, this part over here, you could, for example, exchange this with this if you wanted to. For example, if this one here was okay, then you just exchange this with this. It's a small thing, because it's the same type and the same version of the camera, so you could definitely do it if you wanted to. But enough. I just wanted to show you more or less why I'm collecting those cameras. But the most important thing is spare parts. A lot of spare parts inside, and you don't know. Maybe there will be a time where well, when there won't be any more of those cameras available, even for like $20 or $30, and then you can't find parts anymore. So this is why I'm collecting them whenever I see a cheap camera. This one here, I think it was a Exakta II. Let's see what type of version. Oh my god, yeah. Again, I'm buying, oh gosh, this is in a very bad condition. Here we have some, that's probably the back leather. Yeah, that's probably from over here. That's unusable. Let's see. This one is completely worn out. So this is also some. Here we have the same issue, but I do believe there's still this part inside. So we're gonna open it up and check it, but let's first just look at the camera. Let's see if it winds. So sometimes we can just use this one. If this one doesn't work, we can just use this speed lever to wind the camera. Okay, there you go. Obviously there's some spring. Okay, shutter works, which is good. Again, I got this camera because of the lens. That's one of the oldest 2.8 50mm lenses, sized lenses. It's all aluminum, it's very, very light. I believe that's early 50s, if I'm not mistaken. And the cool thing about this lens is the aperture. It has the aperture blades. I think it has 12 aperture blades instead of, later they changed it to 8, I believe. Needs definitely some COA, which you're gonna take care of a little bit later. Let's put the lens here, and gosh, this is, in terms of like visuals, this is completely unsavable too. And this is actually the first version of the Exakta II, so it should be, let's see what number we have. It should be like 6.4, 6.9-ish. Gosh, this is completely... Like, what do people do with those cameras to get them into this condition? I have no idea. There's some screws falling out, which is always a good sign. Let's see, 6533, 6533. Actually an older one, 653. No, it's actually the first version. Yeah, the first version. But it's still rare. Only 6,000 of those were made, of the first Exakta II. Yeah, not in a very good condition. Let's see if we can, let's work our way through, okay? I always like to, like, before we start with the front, which is, oh gosh. Okay, here, oh, okay, here we have a little problem. We can see the lever. Like, this is supposed to actually go into this hole over here. And it's on the outside, which means that somebody actually opened this up, which you can also see by the missing screw here. And let's start with this one here. I want to figure out why is this in this color? Like, I've never seen this in such a bad color, and I want to find out if that's a metal issue or like what's going on. So just gonna get some alcohol. Try to there shouldn't be anything else. See, if we take this for instance, it shouldn't get yellow because it's complete aluminum. We can actually clean up this part. As you can see, it might take a while, but we can make it new and shiny. And again, you can order those things. That's basically 1,000 grit sandpaper, and on the other side it's 10,000 grit sandpaper. It's usually what watchmakers are using to polish watches, and I found out that it's really helping me cleaning up cameras, because it's very subtle. It doesn't really, I mean, it's 1,000 grit sandpaper. It's not like 200, 300, 400, 500 grit. It's just enough. It's just enough to get. That's good news. That means that, see, it's already having more or less the same color like this. I should have probably changed the lens for this video. Maybe I can zoom it in later in post. I don't know. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. So again, just a quick look. I think this one here is solvable, this discoloration, which you might not see on the camera because my light is reflecting way too badly. So we have a lot of dirt here, we have a lot of dirt here. Gotta clean this up. Let's start with the front shield. Okay, get this off. This is supposed to be black. Well, it's not black anymore. Let's get this last screw here off. Those ones here are always longer, and unfortunately we have one missing. But other than this, the plate, oh, here's one more. I don't know if the plate is usable or not, we'll see. Let's see if this plate can be fixed. I think the plate is good. I think we can clean this up and make it work. Yes, let's go over it with some alcohol first to clean up all the dirt. Don't be afraid to use a lot of alcohol. Even if you get the color off, we can very easily recolor those parts. I'm gonna make a tutorial on that. It's very easy. But again, just use cotton. Otherwise, you might scratch it and get this yellowish tint again. And just gently go over it. $10,000, because if you do it to the 1,000, you're gonna get the yellow stuff again, right? So don't overdo this. Again, all those things here with this black paint which is missing, we're gonna fix this later, or maybe we can actually fix it right now so you can see how it's done. You can use the 1,000, but only if it's already, how to say, already if you went through some metal, right? And it's not like new like this. It has already been used, and it's kind of like soft to the touch. You can use the 1,000 just for like small parts, like here we have some small things. Just want to go over them like very quickly, like this, like some small spots. You can use it, but just be careful. Don't overdo it. Maybe later we go back to do the coloring, okay? But I'm really curious how the camera, well, what's the deal with this lever here, and if it has actually the spring or not. But it seems to have the spring because it's flipping back, so the spring might be just disconnected, and that's the reason why it's not winding the camera. So you gotta open it up. This looks great, so this part is savable. Let's get this open. Oops. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Okay, this is over here. Oh, wait a sec. This is over here. This is over here. Okay. Don't do it the lazy way. Okay. Let's get this off. Now, the moment of truth. Come on. Get up. There you go. Now we need to lift this part up. But I forgot if there was a... Gosh, it has been really a long time. Oh no, it's okay. Now... Oh, okay, it's working. So we can see actually this part over here. This is okay. Which means that we have this winding thing. Now we just need to figure out why, when we're winding, is it not winding the mirror, right? So in order to do that, that's probably the messiest part. So what we already discovered is that if we put this part, right, if we put it here, right? We can actually use this part to wind the camera. It's a little tough, but you should see the mirror actually right now winding. Okay, now you wound it up, right? Now if you press, this happens, yeah. I should have. Okay, now we have to really open it up. Okay, let's get it out. Let's get it out. So this part here, okay, this one here is loose. So this one here shouldn't be loose. I don't know if you can see it. This is connected over. So again, this part over here is connected over here. It kind of like goes inside, and it should stay in place when it's inside. I'm probably not seeing anything right now. Okay, it should actually work. So let's wind it up. Again, we can start from the beginning. Oh wait, I hope I'm in focus. Again, just wind it up like it's supposed to be. It's not very difficult to figure out. The only problem is that the harder you wind, the more difficult it becomes to stay in place. So we're gonna wind and wind and wind. Oops, see, you already lost it one time. There's like some real tension inside. But the only thing we need to do is just figure out a way to secure it without losing this part here. Oh, gosh, German engineering. There you go. Okay, this is how it's supposed to look like. See, very tight, with the only difference that this should be around this level here. There you go. Okay, just first put this on top. And now what we're gonna do is take this part, pull one time. Oops. But we actually have to put this inside somewhere. There you go. And now we pull until we start noticing that this is starting to turn. So now we have to keep this somehow in place, like, because when we're moving this, we're moving the whole thing, right? The other way is to move it with your fingers. Let's actually do it with our fingers. So we're moving, we're still moving, and this is still not moving, right? But when it starts to move, there you go, see? Now we know, okay, now we're at the beginning position. Now we put this, now we put this here, and of course we messed it up. Did we mess it up or not? Yeah, we messed it up. So because there's the spring inside, it's very difficult to get it right the first time. So we're gonna move this again. Gosh, I really hope I can zoom in the video, man. Nobody's gonna watch this. Okay, now we are moving. So what I usually do is I take a screwdriver, just push it up. Yeah, bullshit. Not gonna work like this too. So let's move it again. Oh yeah, this is how we were doing it. Yeah, there you go. So you use a screwdriver to just push it in. And now the question is, how do you put this on? There you go. I think we got it. Okay, perfect. Now we got it in. And let's close it up. So this might work and might not work, we don't know. So, but still, if it works, we don't want this whole spring to go out again. So we have to do it again. So we're gonna close it up for now. And just see if we rotate this part, this will rotate. See, it's starting. Now we watch the mirror. Ha! Okay, now we have a different problem. Is that when we're moving the lever, see, we do trigger the mirror, but triggering the this part here. So I think we need to actually open the whole camera and check what's going on inside. Yeah. Okay. Back to square one. But now we actually wanna take out this whole the whole mechanism, right? So we're gonna take this out first. Unfortunately, we're gonna wind it later again. As you can see, it actually got out. It actually got out, and it seems like the issue is really with this part. Okay, I think I know the issue now. So let me get it out so I can show you. Yeah, it just got intertwined in the... So this part here, it's supposed to be closed. It's supposed to be like this, but it's supposed to be well welded, so we only have this little hole, right? Then that hole goes into this little piece here, which is holding it in place. However, I think we have another issue, because this is not getting into place, and when we press the shutter, it is not opening up at all. So what we're going to do now, we're going to ignore this part, because this is easy to fix. We're going to use this to actually wind the camera and see if it's going to work now. See, now this is in place, and when we press the shutter, it's actually working. All right, so we know that the mechanism is actually working, like inside the camera. There's nothing wrong inside the camera. The only issue... What the fuck is this? The only issue... What is this? Why was it there? That's not supposed to be there. I don't even know. I don't even think that that's an Exakta part. Anyway, so we know that the camera is working. The only issue we have is with this part over here. Now, usually what I like to do in cases like this is to clean up all the dirt inside. But the most important part is to find a way to just make this into a little hole, but keep it closed. Otherwise, it's just going to see, it's just going to, you pull on it, and then it's becoming like this, and then it doesn't hold anymore. So if it doesn't hold anymore, it cannot add tension to the springs which are driving the whole mechanism, right? So we need to figure this out ASAP, or take a spare part from a different camera. We'll see how it will go, but for now I'm going to clean up the interior as much as I can. That's the boring part, but okay, now we have to figure out how do we get this. I forget. I'm really forgetting. I think there was a screw here, right? Let's get this screw here out. And somebody opened this camera before me, so somebody was playing around with it. While we take this out, we might as well clean the glass. That's also a little bit too dirty. But again, we don't really care about this now. Let's put this aside. We can take care of this later. All we care about right now is this mechanism. Okay, it's a new day, and I think I've decided I actually wanna try to fix this camera in terms of visually too, because we have nothing to lose. It's you know, it's one of the rarest Exakta II, so we should definitely at least try to figure it out. So yesterday we already disassembled it. We started cleaning the lens, which also needs some cleanup here around those parts. But other than this, this one here turned out really good. So we are actually making some progress. Cleaned this one too, cleaned this part as well. So slowly from the before picture to the after picture, I think we're going to make some progress. So let's just move on. So what I'm going to do now is first strip the leather, because we need to clean it. Just gotta be careful not to rip it, but I don't think there's any big danger to rip it. Let's see. You're gonna need some screwdrivers. Oops. Yeah, see, we're ripping it here, so you're gonna be very careful. I'll take a screwdriver. And I'm going to go below this part here, trying to get it into the hole. And now we have to worry about this part here, right? So we need to somehow find it with a screwdriver. Alright, here we go. We ripped apart a little bit, but I think it's okay. So this is going to be washed, and we're going to try to remove all this residue as much as possible. Gonna do the same on this side. This side is easier. Gosh. I think we need to actually remove this part here first. Or probably not. No, it's actually stripping off. Okay, great. Now, let's see. Now we have to open up. Now we have to basically remove the whole mechanism from the camera, because we really need to give it a thorough cleanup, so we can make it work again. Maybe we can get rid of this leather here too. Okay, there you go. This is our bottom. Wow, that's quite a lot of dirt. We're gonna take care of this a little later. Let's first get the glue off. Make sure we take everything off. I think I also want to repaint those parts here. See how this whole thing is stripping apart. So we're gonna need to fix this too. Unfortunately, like otherwise it's just unusable. So it's gonna be actually a pretty big job, this camera. No idea if it's going to turn out well, but I think it's going to turn out better than it was. So issues I see here is this part. So the problem is that this is, as you can see, the gold here. This is messing, I think, right? So this is we can't fix this. I think we can fix this part. So that's a newer model, but basically this part here is supposed to be just normal metal. Again, we're gonna have an issue with this part over here. I don't think we can even save those screws, so we're gonna strip them down. Later we're gonna paint it black, like over here. I think everything else is doable. So let's first try if we can actually save this part over here. Just gonna go over it with 1000 grit sandpaper and see if we can get the color back. And I think we have some good news. As you can see, we're getting the color back, which is good. But before we do that, I really want to disassemble the camera so we can work nicely. Maybe we can even soak it up into some water later and see what's going on. Let me remove the leather. Let's continue on this side. Let's get this off. I think this whole part here is savable, so shouldn't be any issues. Let's just get this off. Somebody has opened this camera before. It's pretty obvious. Okay, should be enough. Let's open this, get the spring out. You know, when you're doing this stuff, just try to put everything into one place so you know which one is from where. Get this knob out. Cool. Now let's get those screws. Here in the inside is much shorter. Okay, just remember that. Otherwise, if you try to put the long one into here, it will break and you never get it out, and you have no screw there anymore. And the small one wouldn't fit in here. And the last one on the back is long again too. So you have long, long, short. Okay, get this out. And what I like to do is just put the screws inside here, so I don't lose them or I don't mistake them for some other screws. Okay, cool. That's the inside. Let's see. On the Exakta II, I think we have to disassemble. Let's get this one out too. We need to disassemble this whole part here. We have a screw over here, I believe, and a screw here, which somebody already took out. So the previous owner obviously repaired something or tried to repair something, so the screw here is already missing. But now we do need to first take the spool out. There you go. Spool is out. This down. We have one more over here, which is super accessible. Okay, this screw is out now too. The first, the main screws, which are holding this whole part, this whole inner part. Let's get those away. One. As you can see, it's the same screw like those ones, which is also not supposed to be. Actually, those are supposed to be much longer screws. I don't know why the previous owner used those. There you go. This part is done. And I do believe we need to disassemble this protector, this what's it called? Curtain protector. Oh, we're lifting it, and we just take it off. Okay, cool. That's our film. That's our film protector. As you can see, the curtains look actually quite good. We might clean them a little bit up, but so far I think they look pretty good. Okay, cool. Let's start with this screw over here. I think this one needs to be disassembled too, because it goes into this screw over here, which is blocking this from coming out. So obviously we need the inside, we don't need those things. So let's disassemble this one if we can. If not, obviously it's still turning, so it means that we have to press on the screw which is here, which is blocked by this the thing that stops the winder, the reverse winder. If we press this lever down, then here we have some space where we can push this part up, and after we push it up we can actually get access to this screw here. And after we get access to that screw, we need to stabilize this one, and then we rotate it. The issue is that's easier said than done. I do believe they did use some special tools probably back in the days to do that. So we're gonna try to squeeze it in like this, push it. This might take some time. Let's try to rotate this screw instead. Nope. Is it? There you go. Now we have it. Now we have it. We can get this one here off. Come on. Get it off. It's still not coming off. How long is this screw? There you go. Okay, now that we got this screw, we can, oh, there's our wheel, right? And now the camera can hopefully move up. Let's try it out. Again, press on the mirror. Oh, there we go. Now we're going up. Just be careful when you're pushing it up, not to damage the back part here, like the curtains, for obvious reasons. So try to push them in a little bit so they can go out. Okay, here we go. That's our inside. Let's put it away for a second. Now this part here, remember when disassembling, when you assemble it back, this one has to be on this hole over here. Okay, so let's put this out now too. Let's move this to this screw. There you go. Okay. Okay, cool. We didn't need this one here. We found something else here. That might be, well, I have no idea what this is. You'll figure it out later. Okay, now we have the housing, and now we can go clean the housing. Not gonna take like much videos or whatever about cleaning the housing. Just go to a bathroom and put some soap and water on it. And oh, one more thing, we need to figure out how to disassemble this, because we might need to change it. This is our shutter which just fell out, which is okay. So let's see if those screws are still gonna work or not. So I will need to, gosh, this might actually fuck up the whole thing, because if we don't get those screws out, we can't get this part off. If we can't get this part off, then this whole restoration is not going to work out. All right, so the good news is we managed to get a little bit more access to the screws. So now we'll see if we can actually remove this part. Again, I just used some normal steel wool to go over the whole camera and just clean it up a little bit. Just put some paper inside too. There you go. And now Now is the moment of truth, because if we don't get this off, or if we destroy the screws, then we'll have a big problem here. So hopefully it's going to work. Let's get the small screwdriver first and see if we can get any. No, not gonna work. Let's try with a screwdriver which is a little bit bigger. And need to make sure the screwdriver is really in the screw. Otherwise we'll destroy it. Come on. No. This screw, okay, this screw is impossible. Let's try this one. Good news, this screw is actually coming off. And let's see if we can do the same with this screw. This would be perfect. Like if we get 2 screws out, the third one we can, we can figure it out somehow. Okay, this one is moving too. I know there's some chemicals you can put on it to loosen those screws, but I have no idea where to get them. I like to use chemicals. Let's put those screws here. Okay, this screw is most likely impossible to get out. And now let's try to. Also, here's still part of the leather. Nice. Yeah, the leather is going to be a different problem too. I think we're going to be having some issues with it. So now I'm trying to get the screw out within this way, just to loosen it up a little bit. It's moving, it's moving. Okay, there you go. Let's put this back into shape. Now we can start the fun part. Well, fun if you think so. First of all, we're gonna go over the whole camera and polish it up. Like we're gonna use grit paper to polish up this part over here, this part. We're gonna obviously also like just get it into some normal shape. We're gonna also try to get this paint off. Just take a screwdriver and just like go over it like this, and the paint is coming off by itself. We can move on to start working on the polish, and it's pretty easy. Just take some grit paper. You can also use a machine. Obviously it's going to be quicker, but I like to use my hands so I don't overdo stuff. Unusable anymore. Just get some alcohol, get over it. Let's get all the dust away. And then we're gonna need a second round probably, because there's still way too much. Like we can definitely make this look much prettier. Again, we're going for this. So see, there's still some work to do on the polishing. Again, it's not perfect, but I think it should do the job. You can also get those ones here cleaned up. Or we just paint them black later. Actually, they should be black. So the only thing metal is actually those little hoses for the strap. Let's just clean them up too, to make sure because after we paint it, we really don't want to do any sanding anymore for obvious reasons. So you better do all the sanding before you paint it. Now we can move on to, let's do actually the paint probably. Yeah, let's do the paint first. There you go. Okay, so here's what we're going to use. This is some Japanese model paint. It's called Tamiya Color Enamel Paint or whatever. It's usually for models. I use this actually to fix those things over here. This is also something we're gonna do a little bit later. But for now, let's work on the body first and see if it actually works, because I have no idea if it's gonna work. So let me just drop some paint here. I hope it's self-leveling so that if we go through, I should probably put something below the camera. So let's see if this is going to work out. Even if we go a little bit over this, it's okay. We can still use the yeah, it's not going to be a perfect paint job, but the idea is just to give the color back. And obviously back in the days, if you buy some used or some, you know, like repaired Exakta cameras, you see exactly the same type of brushing where people basically fix the camera, and this is what we're going to try to replicate. We're not going to replicate like the new paint condition, which is, you know, impossible unless you are really good in what you're doing. But we're just gonna make it look better than it was. That's the whole purpose of the video. I think it's not looking bad. I mean, it's more or less the same consistency. Now we can move on to how do we do this? How about we actually take this lens? Let's see. It's gonna work. Yeah, more or less. Cool. Let's make sure we get the low part too. And hopefully the paint will set to be even so we don't see any brush strokes, but I don't really see any. As you can see, it's actually flattening out quite well. this part here. And I think we can call it a day and let it dry and see what's going on with it later, okay? Since we're painting anyway right now, let's take care of this part. As you can see, we can see a lack of paint over here and over there. And yeah, we should fix that. It will definitely make this plate look much better. So let's put it here. There's two ways to do it. One way would be to, for example, take a cotton stick, just break it, get a little bit of this part here, make it a little bit thinner, and then you dab into your paint and go over it like this. That's a better way in terms of like compared to using brushes, right? So you just dip it in and you make sure that it just goes into the not the embossing, what is this called again? It goes into the, well, it's not the embossing, into the engraving. There you go. So we go into the engraving and we just follow the path of the letters. Now we are more or less done. And what we do now is we take some, for example, I have here some plastic scraper, but you can use, you know, anything which is like flat, and you can use some paper too. It doesn't really matter. And we just go over it like this. Just go over it. Actually, you gotta hold it. And we just scrape off the excess paint. Just scrape it off. Don't worry about those other parts. We're gonna clean this up later. For now, you just make sure that you scrape off the paint, because the paint is already inside the engraving. So you're basically just scraping off the top right now. You take a cotton stick and carefully, without too much pressure, just go over those places where the paint is on the outside. It's gonna be a little messy, but just continue doing it. You don't want to go into the engraving, you only want to be outside of it. There you go. Let's check this downside here. This part over here. See, we're getting somewhere. At some point, you can get some cotton, put some alcohol on the cotton, not too much, just a little bit, and then we can get over with this, just like very softly. Don't press it inside, just to clean up the excess. These round movements. Don't worry about the paint like getting too dry or whatever. You can always clean it up and start again if you make a mistake. And now we're almost there. Now we just have to clean up the excess paint. So you're gonna push a little bit more. And there you go. This is looking now pretty perfect. We fixed this part. Obviously you can do a second coat. Let's actually do a second coat to make it a little bit more beautiful. Now what we can do is just take some tissue, go over it again, and there you go. Even better now. Now it looks very even. And we can do the same with the eye on IHG and the H. They also have some issues. So for instance, I'm going to take my brush, paint over the I. It's an I, not a J. Paint over the H. I think the rest looks okay. Maybe we can enhance the 2 a little bit. Maybe. The J is still a little bit discolored. The 2 is okay, but I still can see some issues with the J. So I'm just pushing it with the brush to make sure everything goes inside. Looks much better. And now the front plate is done. I don't think. I mean, we could use obviously much more, but I think given the condition of the camera, this front plate looks now perfect. Okay, what's next? I think we needed to clean this part. Let's clean this part here up first. Yeah, sometimes just some alcohol is completely enough to get the bigger dirt away. This little stuff, we could use 10,000 grit sandpaper. Again, be careful, especially on those angles. Gotta be very careful. On the top, you can apply some pressure, but never apply pressure like this or like this, so because you will get it. You get it yellow. Doesn't look like new, but looks much better than it was before. There you go. So this part is now ready too. Again, those are our 2 parts that we saved. Here we have a little problem with this arrow. This is something we need to fix. So this arrow here is supposed to be black. You just gotta be patient when you're doing this type of stuff. There's no I think we're good. There you go. Arrow done. Go over a little bit. And there's still some little paint left that I wanna get. It's looking okay. There's a small spot next to the arrow, but come on. Alright, so the issue we're having with this camera is definitely... See, what happens now is that I'm moving the lever, right? And it's winding up. But the problem is that when we go far, this part over here, so this is supposed to be on top of this. So the mirror is cocking already. So when I release this, right, the mirror is okay, it's cocking, right? But we're not putting this part over this to actually cock the backside. So we have to figure out why this is happening. In order to actually prove this theory, I'm going to just, obviously you can just take this, we rotate this, and if we do, there you go. Now we have cocked everything. Now if you press the release, we're going to be able to have it. So that's the issue. Now obviously, in some cases, we actually removed this this part because it broke. It's right over here. Unfortunately, it broke, so we have to figure out a way to actually connect it later. But it's okay. We can even live without it for now. We have to figure out this problem first. So again, see, you're pulling it, and even if you pull it up to the end, it's not going over this part. And the only way to actually do it is to set it with this. So I tried to figure this out for quite a long time, and I think the issue is somewhere over here. And in order to prove that, I disassembled a different Exakta II. It's the same. It's absolutely the same model, which is, well, kind of working. The times are a bit wrong on this one, but then I started comparing. So this one is working. Let's just prove it. So there you go. We're cocking, right, and then it's working. The only issue with this camera is that it's still on slow speed, so I have to pull this lever and then it closes. But I noticed that when both shutters are already pressed, meaning that we're not in we're like in zero position, right? If we compare this working camera right over here and the not working camera, we can see that this part is in a completely different place, but we can also see that below here this part is also in a different place. Like on our camera we're working on right now, it's actually behind here. So I think that because we need only a few millimeters more tension basically to cock the backside. So I think that might be actually the issue, that we just have to twist this thing a little bit to the right, so we actually align those screws over here, and then this part is going to align also exactly like this part, because look at this part, how it's open here on this side, right? But here we have those teeth, and it's starting to get open right over here. So I think that at least that's the only difference I can notice between both cameras, and I think that this might solve the issue. If not, then it means that for whatever reason this part here is worn out, and we have to disassemble it and just twist it a little bit to the front, so that this part over here can make better contact with it. But I don't really believe that's the issue, because even if when I compare them like side by side, right, they look like the parts itself over here, they do look identical. So I don't think I don't think that's the issue. So we're going to try this out, I guess. The first thing you're gonna do is actually disassemble the camera. Let me actually find, okay, because I'm on the 50 right now, so it's a little bit tighter. Let's disassemble this too, because it's just going to be in the way. Oops. Almost broke the mirror there. Okay, cool. So in order to, let's lift this one here up. There you go. Okay, those are our normal parts, right? So in order to lift this up or to reposition it, because we can't reposition it like this, because the moment we're turning it, it's turning this here and it's turning this here. So we will need, unfortunately, we'll have to need to disassemble this part so that we can rotate this to the position we want to. Later we're just gonna compare it with this camera, but I think for now we can just start. So all we need to do is basically put this part over here. To put this part over here, just to be on this side, just like on this camera. You can see it right here, so that the latch, so that this latch over here is pushing that part. And I think here's something else wrong too, so let's disassemble it and check it. That's something I've done only once or twice, so it's not a lot of fun to actually do this. You have to be careful with the spring here. If you lose it, because it goes really far away, so if you lose it and then nothing works. And also remember the position of this piece over here, right? So we're going to start with this screw, which should be loose, by the way. It shouldn't be too tight anyway. So we're going to start with this screw, and as we move it up, let's just leave it like this. We don't really want to disassemble it completely. Now this thing here is connected. Oh no, it's not connected to anything. Perfect. So we can take a screwdriver and try to lift it up. Try to lift it up. And just remember the direction. Alright, there you go. Okay, cool. This one is done. Now we still, okay, now we can finally turn it. Wow, it's actually much quicker than I thought. So now this is like in free, this one is free, so we can turn it. I think we might even use the chance we have right now to clean it up a little bit. So now we're gonna position this part to be exactly like on this camera, and we just hope it works after we assemble it. So this is pressing like this, so this part should be more or less like this, and then when you put this on, it's going to pull here, just like we have here. Maybe we turn it a little bit to the left, and I think now we more or less have the same setting. Actually, this has to be, I wonder if this part is somehow broken, like if there's some issue here. Because I think this should be, there you go, this is actually moving, so I think that there might be some issue here with the spring. That could be also one of the reasons, but let's first try to assemble it like this and see if this will solve our issue. So we get this part here again, pull it back carefully. Might need to twist it a little bit because has to, there you go, it's inside here, it's inside here too. cool. Now let's get our screw. Put this back here. There's this little washer, you gotta be careful. Yeah, maybe you should have put the screw into the washer first. And then we find our way to the hole. There you go. Let's see if this little piece, no, it's not moving, so we need to, it's way too tight. But I think this has to be a little bit more to the front. This has to stick out a little bit, so we take our finger. Is it just dirty or did we destroy it? No, it's just dirty, I think. Why do I believe it's upside down? I think this should be actually, it's not really looking, it shouldn't be looking like this. Let me try this again. Sorry. Get the screw out. Let's see. Yeah, I think this should be upside down. It shouldn't be like this. Let's turn it. There you go. Now it's correct. Put it here. Get our washer. Yeah, you could use some tweezers to do this kind of job, but whatever. Let's close this down. Let's see. So you move this a little bit to the front and we tighten it up. There you go. Can it move? You just have to make sure that this part here can move left and right. More or less. And up a little bit. No, it's way too much. I have no idea if it doesn't actually matter how tight this is, but I just look at, look at some look at the other camera, how it's over there, and then I think it should be like, okay, moment of truth. Let's put this on, and now when we put it on, we should start at a completely different position. There you go. So now we're starting from here, and hopefully this is going to work out. The position has to be actually like, we take this, it should be actually like that. There you go. Now we twist. There you go. Now it's, see how the part is going in right now? So the whole issue is because the position of this part over here just for whatever reason wasn't aligned, and that was all the issue with this camera. Let's put, because right now it's on B, let's try it out and make sure that this is actually really working. So in order to do that, we put in, we put in our dial. Doesn't really matter where you put it right now, or at all, because it's always going to be on B, and then after you change it, it's going to actually find the speed automatically. Pull off. Okay, now we're at 50. Let's try B first to make sure. Oh, okay. To make sure we're good. No, for whatever reason now this thing is. Oh gosh. Like whoever invented this little thing. There you go. Let's try it out. So B, There you go, we're cocking the shutter. Oh, I'm so happy this is actually working. Okay. Again, this is still broken because it doesn't have this spring, but it doesn't really matter at this point. We just want to see, okay, there you go. B is working. Let's try it one more time. I think we could actually, let me add this. Let me add the top part so we don't have to put it on all the time. Can actually properly test it. Wait a sec. Let's first put the shutter. Yeah, see. Let's see. This is supposed to be here. Okay, there you go. Let me just get this on. To make sure it doesn't fall off anymore. Okay, that should be enough for testing purposes. So, B, get it back, hold, open, release, there you go. Moment of truth, let's try the 1000. We should just be able to hold and the curtain should close. There you go, working. Let's try, let's actually go to, let's go to 150 directly. I think like if two speeds are working normally, then usually, okay, this looks also pretty accurate. Let's try the 50. Let's try the 50. Okay, 50 is a little weird. Let me try this again. Maybe it was just 1, 2, 3. Okay, 50 works. Let's try 25. But I think we solved the issue. So yeah, it's okay. So again, the issue was the alignment of this bottom part. Remember that. So if you ever have this issue where you're winding the shutter, right, and the mirror is locking in, but your curtains are like the curtain mechanism isn't locking in, then it means that either something is wrong with your setting over here with your slow speeds, or this part here is misaligned. And since we aligned it now, everything is working properly. So, which is perfect news. It means that we can actually go on to yeah, to start finishing this camera. Great. Now there's obviously one more thing we need to figure out, which is this part over here. So what happened is that when I was winding it, it came off, and usually there's a very small hole inside of here, and there's a very small screw inside of this part. I hope I can zoom in post. There's a very small screw holding this part in, basically like this, right? Oops. So let me demo it. But this is basically a small hole, and then this goes inside, right? And there's a very tiny screw I don't wanna put in. So now we have to find a way to drill a hole. Like we could use the camera also without it, right? But it's just way too messy to always have to, you know, manually retract this, and it's just not good enough. So we're gonna try to fix this. No guarantees obviously, but we gotta drill a small hole inside, and then we're gonna attach it to this part, and then we'll hopefully have a working mechanism again, because I think this part over here should actually be strong enough to, you know, to pull it. So I don't think we need to solder this like to shut it, right? I think it's gonna survive at least a couple of months. The bigger issue is this hole, so let's get onto it. Okay, let's use this one here. And we're gonna take some gaffer tape and just put this on here. Now if I knew the direction, I don't think the direction makes, I don't think it really matters. I hope not. But a hole is a hole, it doesn't really matter which direction, right? So let's put this here. Let's get some gaffer tape. Hopefully it's going to hold. Let's do the back first. And I hope this will not be too big, but I think it should work out. Hopefully it can go through metal. I haven't tried this out. Again, nothing here is scripted. Everything is just doing it as it comes. But I gotta need my light. Sorry, it might be a little bit too bright on the camera, but for a couple of minutes, let's see if this is gonna work. If our screw can go in, because aligning this will be a mess because everything is so fucking small. Oh gosh, yeah, this is going to be a nightmare to do. Short. How is it even holding it in place? Okay, I think now we got it through. Cool. I think, is it true or not? Yeah, I think it's okay. Let me take a screwdriver, actually try to screw it in. This one broke. Let me try to eventually screw it into the metal. We need to find this hole. Ah, shit. Okay, now we have it. You should be happy I sped this up. This took literally way too long. Wind this like it's supposed to be. There you go. Here's the screw. I didn't over tighten it because I'm afraid to destroy the screw. And if we are lucky, we are even in the right direction. Okay, cool. So now we wind this up, and then this part over here has to go on top of this part over there, right? Just like we were used to. So let us wind this up. The problem is the tension is so high here that I can't really do a good job filming probably, but we need to align this one here to this part over there. So I gotta put it in. Okay, we aligned it, and now we need to take this part, flip it over, and put it right into this little holder over here. And yeah, we got a little unlucky here. Yeah. Gonna try it this way. I'm not sure if it's gonna work out, but I'm out of options because every time I put it on, it just doesn't work for some reason. So now it should be tighter. Let's put this on. Okay, now it's like as tight as we can get. So hopefully this was the issue, but it might be even too tight. So I don't know. Let's try to, so this is the, oh no, it's way too tight. Look how when I'm pulling on this, it's actually pulling on this over here. Okay, so what we have to do now is make one less turn. Get it? So we lift this up and try that's easier said than done. Okay, remember one round less. So we take it here, and we take it just one turn less, and now we put it in. If it goes in, please go in. There you go. Okay, so we have now less of a turn and can try it out again. This is actually, wait a sec, so this is supposed to be here. Okay. Oh, there you go. So from here we start turning. I think it's still a little bit too much. We'll see. Let's turn. Yeah, this might be a little bit too much. See, when we arrive here, we're already pulling way too much on this part, so we're gonna break it. Let's go back again, and we make one less turn, so we move it out again. Just fix this here because this has to be closed. Yeah, I need some chopper tools. This hole is way too small. And we said one less turn, right? So let's get this direction into here. Okay, now let's put it inside. There you go. And it does look like this diameter does look like what we just had before, so I'm not very optimistic. But let's try it out. Gotta turn this to here. Okay, now we have some resistance. Now we put in the lever. Come on. All right, let's try this out. Yeah? Ah, sorry. See, now we're still again at the same position, but this one, this piece here is not moving, so we just have to watch out for this piece over here. So far, so good. Shutter is cocked. Now the moment of truth. Now this should be B. There you go. But on release it should actually lock the shutter, so I don't know what went wrong. Let's try out different speeds. It's impossible. Let me reset this. Let's go to B. Let's go to B, please. Okay, there you go. Now let's see. Okay, B is working. That's a good sign. Let me just close this. Now let's move to 100. Perfect. 100 is working. So this seems to be okay now. Again, rewind the video. Look at what we've done. So we are winding this, right? We are winding this part, but we need to keep something when we're winding it, so that there's enough tension, but there's not too much tension. And the way of discovering it is taking a good look at this part over here. Basically, this whole spring, this whole metal thing is attached to this part over here, right? The moment you see it like really pulling on this part, you know you have to make like one turn less of this. So we just make like one turn, attach it again, then you try the lever again. And if it goes through, like in our example, we did one less turn, right? We attached it, then we moved the lever up to about this position. Then we saw that this is moving, then we knew, okay, we have to like make like one more turn. So we opened it up, one more turn, and then we realized, okay, when the lever is at this position, then it starts moving, which is also too like over tightened. Then we moved it one more time, like made it wider again one more time, attached it again, and now the lever is moving correctly. And now the speeds are correct, and the backside, like the back mechanism, the curtain mechanism is correct too, right? Okay, now we can move into some much more fun stuff. So the first thing we have to do, unfortunately, is to attach this to our camera without messing up our progress. So we're gonna disassemble this again. Anyway, let's put this on, and now we gotta twist this until we feel some resistance. The moment we feel resistance, we should be at our point where we can attach the handle. I think, see, this is the resistance here. Couple of turns. We try to keep it in place. Put on the handle. Try to push it in. Okay, there you go. Everything is pushed in now. Now we close it. Now we attach our time setting wheel. Close it up. 1/50th. Okay, let's tighten this up a little bit, because we are nearing the end anyway. Okay, now it's tight. Now the question is, we have to look here and make sure that everything is inside, that nothing is outside, this positioning is correct. So if everything is okay, we do another test. Let's actually put it to B. B is my lucky one that I like to test first. And let's see if it works. Uh-oh, we have again the same problem. See? So it seems like putting on this part, like the frame counter, for whatever reason is messing up something. So if you rotate this, no, it shouldn't mess up anything. That's really weird. So the moment we attach this, we're messing up everything. Okay, after figuring out what's going on, I think I finally got it. Nothing I said so far was actually the case or the issue we had with this camera. So when we're pulling the lever and cocking the shutter, as you notice, this part over here is actually touching this part, but when we release the shutter, this is turning, and for whatever reason, this might be actually stopping the shutter. So if you want to make sure, let's cock the shutter. There you go. You hold it here with this finger. Try not to touch this part because this part will rotate. And then with this finger, you're going to press the shutter, right? So let's see what happens. It's a little clunky, but see, now we have no problem. But if this is pressed against it, again some demonstration, just to prove our theory. If this is pressed against it, right, and then we push the shutter, see, nothing happens because we are pressing it against this part, and this part has to be rotating freely. So this is why we had that issue. So now that we know the camera is okay, again, this is actually being solved by this little thing over here. So this wheel is never actually going, this lever is never going that close to the speed selector because of this little stopper over here, which we also have to fix because it's a little, it seems a little out of place. So maybe we have to fix this later too, but that's something for later. Now we can actually finally start to put the camera inside. Before we do that, let's get our housing, which looks actually quite good if you remember how we started. I think it's okay. Obviously there's still some work to do over here, so it needs a second coat, but for the first coat it's okay. But the good news is that I found out where this part actually goes. So this one, as you remember, we found it lying here. It actually goes here. So we need to attach it. And it's kind of like helping the film to advance, because here we have this lever, right? And then this is kind of like securing everything in place. So I found two small screws that we're going to use to attach it. They're not the same size, but that's what we have to deal with. So let's push the screws inside. Okay, cool. Now we need the shutter button. Now with the shutter button you have to remember this little part over here, this little cutout part, has to go on the top. So when you're putting the shutter button inside, you just take it like this. There you go. I put it inside. Oops. We put it inside just like this. I hope you can see it. Look how this little part here is touching against this part. Okay, and this is the right position of the shutter button. Don't turn it around. What else do we have to do? I think that's all. Let's get the inside of the camera. And we gotta slowly push it in. Don't put it on the table, because the shutter will press against, like the table will press against the shutter button, and this thing will not go inside. Be careful with the curtains when moving it back into the housing. Here we go, slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, now a little bit before we put it all inside, give it some space to actually attach this part over here. Let's push it in. Now slowly push everything in until it clicks. There we go. And I think we're good now. Check this one here, if it's rotating freely. There shouldn't be any problem. And then we're also gonna do a check of our shutter, just to make sure that everything is okay. There you go. Again, it's still pushing against this, so let's try one more time, but holding it. There you go. Now it's perfect. That's the B, obviously. Let's try faster speed to make sure we are fine. There you go. Everything is perfect. Now what you want to do is attach this little wheel with the washer and that screw. We first take the wheel, put it here, take a screwdriver and gently press it in. There you go. Then we're gonna take the washer, put it on, position it. Then we get our little screw and put it right here. There you go. Okay, now we close it, and this time we don't need to deal with the screw which is on top of it. We just screw it in until it's also winding the screw above us. It doesn't really matter. We don't need to tighten this one, and in order to check it if everything is working properly, when we move it now, it's obviously twisting the whole mechanism. It's twisting this part here, so it's actually moving the picture counter, the frame counter, right? Now if we lift this, see, then it's not going to move it, or it shouldn't move it. I think we didn't attach the screws yet, this is why. So let's just push it. There you go. everything is fine. So you don't really need to deal with this screw here anymore. Just keep it like this. It's going to be okay. Let's secure everything in place. We have 3 screws. We have one in the back here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, screws are in. Now we can continue to tighten up the camera. As you see, we're missing a few screws here. We're gonna take care of them a little later. I just want to make sure everything is working before we completely block everything. So let's do those 2 screws over here. Try one more time. Everything is okay. Perfect. One more time. Yeah, everything is working properly. So now we can actually move on to, let's get this inside. Do you want to clean this, or are we going to lazy out on this? I think we can lazy out on this. If you want to clean this, I don't know, find a way. I'm not going to clean that. We already spent, gosh, almost like 2 days on this camera in between hours. Now we can test this again. Let's lift it up. So when we lift it up, it shouldn't move this part, right? When we put it down, everything is moving. So everything here is dandy. Now it's time to get to those 2 parts here. This goes over here, this goes over here, just like in the disassembly of the camera. Let's remove the speed button first. There you go. Then we'll need to remove this. Don't worry about it. I'll walk you through it again. Don't worry about the position of this after we remove the lever. It's going to be fine. Just push it a little bit with a screwdriver. There you go. Okay. Now I noticed that this is it's not straight up. So something has pushed against it. Obviously the lever has pushed against it, and I believe that if we install it like this, and if the lever pushes back, I feel like that it's going to still touch. Yes. See, it's not going to stop the lever. It's still going to actually touch this part here of the speed selector, and then we will have the same problem again. So I need to find a way to take this part here to somehow turn it towards this side so it actually stops the lever, because this is too close and we can have the same problem again. So there are only 2 options. Either we break it if we're not very careful, or we don't. It seems to be metal. I've never tried this before, but I know we do need to do that if you want this camera to work properly again. So let me get some tools and we start. Alright, this here might be a little overkill, but I have nothing else. So we need to move this part a little bit towards here, but the problem is when I'm touching it, it's actually shaking. So this might actually be broken, and that's the reason why it's shaking. I have no idea. I guess some tissue should do, because we need only a little bit, like we don't need to be like too much. Let's grab it. Just make sure we hold it, and instead of pulling it, I think I'm going to actually just bend this downward and hope that by doing that we're going to achieve some result. Okay, let's check it. Yeah, it's a little bit more straight now. It's actually pretty straight now. But I think we give it one more push just to make sure that we have it. Yeah, I think now it's okay. Now it should protect us very well. Okay, let's try it out. Let's put this on. So we first have to move this up. Let's put this on. Make sure it fits. Something is blocking here. Okay, now we're not very. Something is playing here which shouldn't happen. Man, only some problems with this camera. Let's see what the issue is. Oops. Where is the issue? No, there's nothing really here that should be responsible for this. This part is out too. I don't know. It feels like it's playing and it's not flush. It should be everything should be inside. See, like this part here should be inside. Like on the back it's okay. But if we push the front it goes up in the back. Something isn't right. This might take a while. No, there's something here. Oh, I think it's this screw actually. Let's tighten up the screw a little bit. I think it's the screw. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's a little better now. Still not perfect, but I think it's something over here. But there's nothing here except that screw. This is strange. Something here isn't right. Let me just make sure it's actually the screw before we... I believe actually I did a mistake. I think I see that the washer is on the top, while it had to be actually on the bottom. Maybe that's the issue. Let's put this on the bottom here. But let's try it out without the screw. Okay, now it's sitting flush. So see, this is how it should be. We have perfect line here, perfect line in the back. So it has definitely something to do with this screw here. And I think by putting the washer down, we might have actually solved that issue, hopefully. It's sitting a little bit way too high. Even if we put it in, let's see. Yeah, it's still sitting way too high. And the problem is I have no idea why. But for this video's sake, we want everything to be as perfect as possible, so we're not going to give up. We're going to find a way to achieve it. Not just for the video's sake, like in general. And yeah, it's doable, but we still have this issue here. See how it's shaking? Let's try a different way. Let's put this away for now. Try to get only the screw in. Actually, let me see if there's some space below it. Yeah, did we actually push it like all the way? Did we actually... Maybe we made an error and we actually have to flip this part. Maybe that's actually the down part, not the up part. And if that's the issue, then we need to find out. Let's see if we can pull it out like this. Like theoretically it should work. I might need some better tools. And we have to be very careful not to mess up the spring and anything else. So if we can very carefully lift this up and then we turn it around and see if this will solve our problem. Because I do believe that, I think that's the only logical explanation, that there's an up and down on this thing and we just didn't realize when we fixed it. So let's... Oh, but now this part here is moving too, so I still need to keep it. Okay, let's examine this. Yeah, that's the down part and that's the up part. The up part has some indentation here. Yes, the up part has some indentation, so let's put the up part, let's put it in. Let's try to twist it in, which is going to be difficult. Or not. Okay, we twisted it in. Just want to make sure that we are actually moving it. Okay, it's working. Good. Now you can see the indentation here. It has this little indentation, so that when the screw goes in, it can actually go deeper. The question is, where do we put the washer? Let's try without the washer first. Let's try to assemble it and see if our logic was correct. And if we actually have another small win here or not. Actually, fuck this one. Let's just get the screw inside. And there you go. Tighten it up a little bit. I don't know, man. It still seems a little high. And I don't want to disassemble the whole camera again just to figure this part out. Oh, there you go. Okay, now we're in the center. Okay, so you do have to align this this part here in the center, and then the screw goes actually much deeper. So we're actually right. This was the whole reason. And now, if we put this on, we should have... Come on, there you go. Now we have the perfect line, we have no bubbling, we have no wobbling anymore. And I think the camera should work better now too, because obviously you shouldn't turn around stuff. It's not supposed to be turned around. But the only issue is the washer. I think we should still put in the washer, because this little gray piece is all the time going against the screw. So so we should put in the washer. At least now we know that, now we know what the problem is. So just gonna open it, put in the washer, and then we move on. Here. There you go. Then that's supposed to go around. I don't know. Let's try it out. If it still doesn't work, we just remove the washer and call it a day, okay? Don't worry. I think we played enough with this part. There you go. So first the washer goes in, and then everything else. And we're done. It's still a little too tight. Let's loosen it up a little bit. There you go. This is kind of the right tension. Okay, cool. Last check if everything is okay. Yes, perfect. Now we can finally move on. Okay, now we know that everything is working. We should actually fix up the paint first and let it dry, and then we assemble the whole camera. So let's lift this up. And we just go over this front part again with some paint, and also over these parts over here. Then let it dry until tomorrow, and we'll see you again. Those parts. Okay, so the paint has dried up overnight. I think the front is actually not bad. It's still not completely dry, so we're gonna polish it later and make it look beautiful. But if you compare it like to a normal paint job, I think we're close in terms of quality. It's not perfect, but it definitely looks better than before, and we're still keeping it like semi-original, right? Again, very important if you're selling, like if you're working on a camera like this, and if you do a paint job or anything else, and if you want to sell it, always tell the buyer. Never sell this camera like as if this is original, because it's just unethical, and like serious collectors like me or other people who are really into this hobby, they can spot those things. And if you sell them, a camera one time which is not original and you didn't mention it, then they will never buy from you again. And so it's important, just be honest about the work you have done on the camera. Even if you like the work we did with this camera, everybody can see the serial number, right? So people know, okay, this camera had some work done, and it's in non-original condition, right? The only reason I'm doing this, the only reason I'm painting this camera, and the only reason I'm restoring it is, first of all, for the video, and second of all, for myself, because I'm collecting them. But this is a camera I could take outside, take pictures with, and just have fun with, and I don't care if I break it, if I lose it, if something happens to it, because it's not original. It has no real value, because we repainted it and we did so many things on it. But the cameras I collect, I would never do those paint jobs or whatever. Even like little things, like little paint jobs, little fractures. I keep it as it is, so I know the camera is original. And if I want to sell it one day, I can 100% say, okay, this camera is 100% original. I didn't do anything on it, and the buyer will be happy, and I will be happy. Okay. That being said, we're gonna move to the next phase, which is the leather. Before we start assembling the camera. So as you remember, when we removed the leather, we did a few mistakes over here. So you have basically two options when it comes to leather, right? The first option is to use the original leather, and the second option is to use stuff like this. This is some fake leather. There's some glue on the back side, and you can basically just glue it on the camera. The only problem is that again, this is not original. So if you're selling the camera, you have to say it's not original leather. Now with the Exakta II, it was, especially for the first model, it was very famous for this. I think this is pig leather, and it's very like, look at the shape. It's much bigger than this one, so we can't even come close to it. I mean, it's going to look close. For somebody who doesn't understand, he might even think that's actually the original leather. But again, we don't wanna lie to people. So if you do a leather repair job and you use non-original leather, you have to tell people. But in our case, what I usually would do with this camera right now is I get rid of this leather. I wouldn't even use this, and I would just wait until I buy the same type of camera from the same period, which has actually good leather but other issues, and then I will just transplant the leather from the other camera into this camera, or just swap the outside of the body but keep the interior the same. So this is what I would do. But for the sake of this video, we're actually going to repurpose the old leather and not use the new leather. What you could use actually is, if you're just going to use the camera by yourself, sure, go for it. Go with leather like this, just cut it out, put it on, and you could just use it like this, wait for a second camera or for a third camera which has some good leather, and then basically take this leather off, transplant the new leather on the camera, like the new original leather on the camera, and be happy. But this would be too easy for the video, so we're going to try actually to save this leather. Now I did some experiments, which is I got some black leather paint and I painted over it, and I think it's actually taking care of this, because this looks brown already. It's so dirty. Even if I tried washing it, but it's just too brown, and you can just see it. It's just not good enough. So I got some special leather paint. I just painted this part over here, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. There's not really much. I don't even know if you can see on the camera how bad the leather is on this part over here. If you can actually see how brown it is, how worn it is. So this is protective leather paint in black, mixed up with a little bit of 100% alcohol, and you can go over it. But again, this is just a test strip for me to test if this will work. So we have two issues with this leather. The first issue is that when we removed this, there was this fine leather strip inside, which got lost. So we're gonna have a little bit of a gap when we attach this thing again. And I did some modifications on this thing too, but we're gonna talk about this a little later. But in general, I think it will work, this part. Then we have this part here, where unfortunately we rip off this inner connector. So when we put the leather on, as you can see, we're gonna have this hole here. So my intention is to patch this particular part here with our fake leather and see if we get away with it, right? And then the worst part is actually the back side, where we have this part, which is unfortunately unsavable, because the part, if I can find it, is well, I can't find it right now, but the part is basically much smaller than this space. So we're going to scrape off all those things here. we're going to remove the leather so we can clean up all this residue here which has accumulated, right? We have to clean up those things here too. Unfortunately, below this, it's I think it's brass, so it's going to have like this brownish golden color. But there are also two things we could do about it, making the camera more non-original, but more on that later. I think for now we're just gonna prepare the leather to wash it. After we wash it, we have to dry it, and then we can start working on reattaching the leather on the camera. So as you can see, you have all this glue residue here on the back side. So all of this stuff has to go away, because right now the leather it's hard. It's not supposed to be hard, right? It's supposed to be, well, soft. So we gotta take our screwdriver, and you have to be super careful with this because you don't want to damage the leather even more than it's already damaged. And you're just gonna strip off all this glue, okay? And again, be very careful, especially at the corners here, because you can just rip the leather. The more glue you remove, the less durable the leather gets on the back side. So you have to be really careful with this, okay? So I gotta speed up the video, and I'll see you when this part is done. There's still a little bit residue here. Especially get the corners right, because those have to be very flat so we can actually glue them on, so the leather doesn't get up again after some time, right? As it usually happens on those cameras. So try to get the corners cleaned up as much as possible. But I think this is okay now. Now we're gonna move to this one, and as you can see the difference, even if you're just moving the leather, right, you'll notice like this is like super stiff right now, very stiff, while this leather is already, it's just like almost just like leather. There's like one more layer of glue, but it's so thin it doesn't really matter. The reason we're doing this also is to let the leather expand, because leather can expand, especially under warm water. So we want it to expand, and then dry, not completely, about 90%, and then we actually gonna glue it on. So it's important for the leather to be able to expand, and if we don't clean up the backside, then it's just not going to expand. As you can see, this is all the residue glue from this little part. And you shouldn't probably touch it with your fingers if you have any, like health issues or whatever. Always good to wear gloves and maybe even a mask or a respirator or whatever, because it's very dusty, and who knows what type of chemicals they used back in the day. So do whatever you need to do to be safe. I'm taking no responsibility for any health issues. I think it should work. I think it should work. Let's move on to the next part, which is this one. This is going to be a little bit more tricky because this whole ladder is falling apart already. So we have to be super careful with this part. And I think we might not even be able to save it at all. Let's try. Yeah, as you can see, we're ripping the ladder apart. It's not going to... This one is already way too degraded. Not gonna be able to save this one, sorry. So we have only those two. And this one here now. Let's get it off. Slowly. But here we're ripping it already, so we gotta be careful again. Go with a screwdriver below it and just like this, okay? Okay, now that everything is done, let's go wash the ladder. Gonna wash this part too. There's gonna be more work on this part, but for now we're gonna wash the ladder so we can put it to dry and focus on some other stuff. Okay, let's just keep it like this for about 30 minutes. And while we're waiting for this, we're going to take care of some other part. Okay, the ladder has been dried, more or less. The only issue is that while fiddling with it, I, by mistake, well, I kind of ruined it. So we're going to figure out if we can save this or not. Let's start with this piece. So what we want to do is attach this piece first, and then we're gonna attach obviously this piece, and then we figure out a way to eventually, with some leather paint, maybe we're gonna be able to save it. I honestly don't know, and that's a big mistake. The other issue we have is that when washing the leather, it kinda got longer on this part, as you can see here. So it's kind of like falling on top of this, on top of the rim. So we will have to cut it actually, which is okay because we're gonna need some cutouts for this part over here. So nevertheless, we're gonna start with this one here first, and then see how we solve the rest, because this one is aligning okay. So what we're gonna do is take some super glue. At least that's what I'm using. or you take some normal glue, but I think, at least in my opinion, super glue is better. And I'm going over the edge of the letter, not the camera, and putting a little glue on. Not too much, just enough to hold it. This part is important around the shutter button. Let's first press this in, and then we're gonna work our way through the inside. Let's just put this in. Okay. Let's press this in. Good. I'm gonna use a screwdriver to just press it in. Okay, this looks okay. Obviously this part here is still open, but we're just gonna put some glue here on the edge. And we don't care right now about excess glue coming out. We just want this to stick here. Obviously when we're working with super glue, we just have to hold it, and then it's gonna stick. If you don't hold it, if you don't press it, it's not gonna stick. So this part seems to be more or less okay. Now we're gonna figure out this part. So as mentioned earlier, the top part is okay, right? We can connect it here, but we have this issue with the bottom part. There's like this 1 millimeter, it's just not really working out. Maybe we can squeeze it in somehow, but I think while washing the leather, we just, instead of shrinking, which usually happens, it's actually expanded for whatever reason. And now we have to deal with this. So I think I'm gonna take a scissor and actually cut out the lower part, just cut it a little bit. Yes. Obviously I'm trying to do a straight line here. And you have only one try, because if you cut out too much, then we'll have an issue. But this looks more or less equal. It's a little bit thicker on this part over here. Let's see if it's gonna fit. Yeah, more or less. We have some issues down here, but I think it's passable. After we color it, maybe it will get a little bit better. Now the issue is, how do we press it in so that we mask this rip here of the leather? Or maybe we just don't mask it. Maybe we just leave it like this. It doesn't look that bad. It's a little, rustic. Let's start with this part over here. Again, taking some super glue, putting it on, especially here in the middle, so we capture all of this part. Let's press on it. Make sure at least the leather at those places it can attach to each other, so that we can mask it later better. See, if we go over it, it's not perfect, but I don't know. We'll see. Now let's continue on this side here. Again, put some super glue behind, like in between those leather pieces, but also on the bottom. Let's do this one first, and then we're gonna do the rest. Let's push this in, but still we need this part to be lower, otherwise we're gonna have some leather missing here, just like that. Let's see. Now we just push it. Not the most beautiful job, leather job, but at least this part, it's visible, but Not as bad as here, so I think there's still some hope for this camera. And now we do the last part, which will be this part over here. Put some glue on. Put some glue in between the leather. Oops, this was a little bit too much, fuck. Yeah, this was not good. Let's press this down. Yeah, we got too much glue. Let's just brush it off very quickly. And now we have this issue here that we need to, like, the leather here is looking passable, but over here it's a little too rustic. At least the line looks right, but we still have to insert some leather over here later. It's okay, we can fix that, I think, I hope. There you go. Yeah, not my best work, but again, just wait for it. I got a good feeling that we're gonna be able to mask it, and it adds some character to the camera, so come on, big deal. Let's move on to this one. This is going to be a little bit trickier because we have those holes here, right? At least this leather didn't shrink, didn't expand, so in terms of size it's actually okay. Actually, I would have hoped it shrinked a little bit, so we take care of this part. But again, first we're gonna glue the leather on, and then we're gonna figure out what to do here. We might be able to use some of this leather over there to mask it out, okay? But again, let's just start first, and then we'll see. Not so bad. Okay, now obviously we're not going to make it like super pretty, but we're going to try to remove as much space as possible by just attaching some leather pieces, basically, right? The way we're gonna do this, we're gonna start with like very small, sample with, it's actually way too big. Start with something smaller, maybe like this. Take our tweezers, figure out which one is the upside, which one is the downside. This is the upside, right? Get some super glue on. Oops, that was a little bit too much. And just press it in. Right? And do the same thing over here. Okay, this seems more or less done. It's not very pretty, but better than nothing. So what we're gonna do now is take some black leather paint and just paint over it, and then we're gonna move on to the back side. Okay, so here we have some thinned out leather paint. I mixed it up with some alcohol so that it dries quicker. I tried this before already and it worked, so again, special leather paint, but what I like to do is fill it out with some alcohol so it's not too much, basically, right? And just go over the leather, and we hope that when going over it, it's going to mask all of our little mistakes and adventures we had with this camera. It's gonna need at least 2 coats, so we're going to paint it now, then wait for maybe an hour or 2 and do it again. Okay, cool. Now let this dry, and while it's drying, we are going to focus on the back part. Okay, let's let it dry and we will have a look back. For now, this one already starts to dry, and it's well, it's looking better than before, but I wouldn't say it's looking perfect. So we'll see how it goes. Now, while we're waiting for the paint to dry, we can move on to a different part, which is this one over here. So this was our original state, right? And here I experimented with some chrome paint, because we have only two options. Either we take this part out from a different camera, or we try to salvage this part, or we keep it in this color like it was before, because we, as you remember, this part was very corroded, and the problem is that when we cleaned it, we got basically this yellowish tint, right? So I experimented with some chrome paint markers, and I found one which actually looks quite cool, quite good. This one, liquid chrome. It's real chrome paint. It's actually used for automotive. So my intention is to actually reuse this part, but in order to do that, we need to paint it. And don't be afraid, after this paint, after this dries out, it actually looks very close to the original paint. So this is why I decided to actually use this. So we just go over it like this. See? And I know right now it looks very liquidish and it doesn't look very, very good, but once it dries, I think it's going to look at least better than without the paint. Again, something to keep in mind if you're reselling the camera, or if you know, whenever you're doing stuff like this, always tell your buyer that you did it. Never, never keep it a secret or whatever, because people who understand those cameras, they will know that this is not the real paint. It's close, but it's never going to imitate real chrome plating, right? So that's why. But for our purpose, and for our purpose of this camera, which is going to stay in my collection, it's going to be probably just used in the field to do snapshots. I still want it to look good, so that's why I'm going to actually go over it and paint it. It's going to look very similar to this part over here, right? Like on this camera. And it's not going to be very visible too, because you have this part here, right? So I think it's going to be okay. Definitely better than just keep it in its original yellowish tint. Okay, looks good to me. Let's let this dry, and then we can actually move on to assembling the camera tomorrow. We could actually do the same thing now while we're actually doing this whole chrome thing. We could actually do the same thing with this part too. As you can see, we have a lot of discoloring here from the bottom layer of this metal, which is brass, I believe again. So we have it here, right? And ideally, this part here too, this part here as well. Obviously we have some paint on it right now, so let me actually scratch off the paint, and then we're going to go over it with this pen. Okay, now let's get over it with the pen. Gonna start here. I thought the middle first actually. All right, it's a new day. The leather is dry. I think it looks passable. Just for comparison, here's another Exakta II. As you can see, the leather here is much more reflective, but this will go away in time. It's because the paint really needs to dry a couple of days, but it should be having this matte finish like here. But obviously we cannot do anything about this part over here, and again, it's noticeable that we patched up the leather, but still, I still believe it's a better way to restore a camera than using some fake leather, which is not original. At least we keep everything original. As for the other paint thing, as for the other paint jobs we've done, this is the piece. This turned out okay. Again, for comparison, on this is a normal paint job here on this camera, right? It's not the same, obviously. It's not chrome, but it's close. At least it looks better than having it all in yellow brass, basically. So again, for this camera, we're just working with parts we have on hand. Like, we're not like with parts from the camera itself. We don't want to, take some parts from other cameras we have. We just want to use what we have on hand. I think this was important for this video, to just work with whatever we have. We only use other cameras for comparison, right? So we just have to do the best what we can with the parts we have. And again, since we are keeping this camera, we can do stuff like this. But if you're going to resell it, please tell people that you put paint on this. Some people might not be experienced. They think that this is original, and it's just messy. Okay, so last luck, we can actually start assembling the camera. Just do a last check before we do that. see that everything is working. This is B is working perfectly. Let's check 1000 and make sure that we have no issues at all. There you go. And we can move actually to assemble the camera. But before we do that, this is actually the backplate we did yesterday. So as you can see, it's metally now. It's not you don't see this reddish brownish brass below it or whatever the metal is. We also fixed up this part here. Later we're gonna go over it with 10,000 grit sandpaper and, you know, make it a little bit more, like polish it up a little bit so it becomes close to the original. But as you can see, this is what we started with, this kind of brown over here, and now we have this metal. I think it turned out okay. Again, look at those parts over here. It's not perfect again, but it's better than the camera was. Okay, again, we're not doing anything perfect here. We're just trying to save whatever we can from the camera, and I gonna put some before after pictures later so you see actually that we actually really made progress. But the camera will start to shine once we add in all the stuff. And obviously this needs still some, like, because we look at my hands, they're like dirty. So because we're touching it everywhere, and obviously we have some paint missing here, this is something we still need to fix, right? But in general, I think it's going to be great. So let's first start attaching this part over here. We need to attach the plate, right? Because in order to attach this thing here, we need to actually wind the shutter. So we're going to wind it right now, and then disassemble those pieces. Let's put it in. Again, after the repair we've done, everything is flat here. Not the repair, after we turn around the wheel, everything is flat and everything is beautiful. So we can now move ahead and place again our... Okay. Get this on. Okay, let's try it out. Ah, perfect. Okay, one more time just to make sure everything is fine. There you go. Let's try a fast speed. There you go. We're done, and as you can see, after we fixed this part over here, this is not touching our speed wheel anymore. There's like 1 millimeter of room, so it shouldn't create any problems. But I think in time, when this is hitting all the time, this part, you can see it actually moving. So this might create some issues down the line, but there's nothing we can do about it right now. That's a small thing. I think it's not that tragic. Now let's do the slow speeds first, and then we're gonna actually screw on this top plate on, in case there's something wrong with here, so we don't have to screw all those screws out anymore. For this part, it's important to not forget to insert this thing. It doesn't really matter how you insert it, but in general I do it always like this. At about you have like this hole here at 4 o'clock. Actually make sure that this lever here is behind this part. Okay, this is actually very important. We're gonna wind the shutter now, and again this part has to be behind this, and then we place this at about 4 o'clock. There you go, about 4 o'clock. And what I usually do is, here you have this 1/5 speed, right? So the 1/5 speed is right above this little sticking out thing, and this has to go into one of those holes, into this 4 o'clock hole. Okay, So what we're gonna do is we place our plate on top. There you go. Again, as you can see, this part is on the 4 o'clock position, and then we try to fiddle this 1/5 speed into this 4 o'clock position. There you go. And because usually if you don't do that, you have to find the hole, and it's a complete mess. But now we're sure everything is correct, because after we put in the spring, put in this part, now we're going to press the shutter, okay, and you're going to cock the shutter again and see if your speeds are okay, and that's about it. Wind it, and then move it to the 1/5. That's when I wind it again. Press the shutter button. You can help it a little bit if you don't want to wait. And the shutter should make like this, right? The shutter button should make like this. Now we test one more time. 1000 speed. One more time on the B. Everything is perfect. So now we know this one is okay. So we can actually put in our screws. Okay, cool. Now we can move on to attach this part over here, the one that we painted. We need to clean it up, obviously, but there you go. So we need 3 of those small screws that we got out. Okay, this plate's attached now. Doesn't look so bad, even though it's a little dated. But again, I think by comparing it with what we started, we're definitely doing much better now. Good. I think we can move on. Actually, put in the light meter. And then we're gonna take care of those little things here. We have 4 screws here missing, one more over here. But let's first get the light meter. Here we have you have this part. Clean it up a little bit, but it looks to be in good shape. It doesn't really matter how you put it in, just be careful. Make sure you have those two things inside. They usually fall out. Those are inside. We could have cleaned up a little bit the housing inside. Actually, let's do that. Put inside. Then we can do the same with the upper side. Just make sure we give it a good brush. A lot of small dust and imperfections. Let's get all of this wiped away. There you go. Let's clean it up. I like to just go over it with a fresh one. Just make sure that there are no spots. Cool. Now we put on the viewfinder. This here is our lever. And we just gently should be able to press it in. There you go. Make sure that this part is inside, right? That's going to stop the trigger in case you haven't opened your viewfinder. And now we need to add in one screw over here. Okay, now our finder is locked and secure, cannot go out anymore. I also gave it a cleanup, just brushed it off with some sandpaper, with some alcohol. And actually what we can do now is get those two screws inside. We have them right here. They're actually supposed to be black, but those are the screws we got. Actually, no, it's not the screw. Wait a sec. They're all the same. This will keep our whole body in place, so we don't shake it, so it doesn't come out. Let's now do those screws over here. Now we can move up to the front. Here we have a small issue, like this part over here is broken. So, but that's not something we can really take care of, unfortunately. Let's move on to the front plate. I think now it's already starting to look quite good compared to what we had before. Let's make sure it's sitting right. I think we have two more parts missing. We need let's see, this one. One is a little bit roundish on the top, the other one is a little bit more flat. So the flat one goes here to the to those slow speeds, and the roundish one goes on top of the lever. screw them on. Let's get this one. And get this one. Okay, cool. Last check. Let's get another B. Oops. Last check, we have to open up the viewfinder. There's our B. Perfect, let's try 1000. Wonderful. And this is where we're at right now. Obviously we need to add the backplate. Unfortunately there's nothing we can do about this, but okay. And the only thing we need to do now is attach the front ring, but before we do that, let's just clean it up a little bit. Again, so the paint here, we need to take care of it a little later, and we also need to polish all of those parts. But in general, this is more or less the end of the video, I think. I have no idea how many hours the video's already gotten. It's probably going to 4 hours. I think you learned most of the most important parts in terms of like repairing your camera. I'm quite sure you can do a much better paint job if you need to do paint jobs, or much better polishing if you really want to, you know, like if you really want to take your time doing those things. And again, the whole purpose of this video was just to take a camera, which is basically a scrap camera, and turn it into a, first of all, into a working camera, and second of all, pimp it up a little bit, make it a little bit prettier. So I think we, compared to the before after, I do believe we actually did a good job. Let's go over with some alcohol, because my fingers are so dirty. All the things we did are just a temporary solution. So if you get a body with better leather, definitely get the better leather and replace the leather. Especially if you get a body with this part intact, without too many scratches or whatever, get this, because as you can see, this little paint is coming off, so it has to dry much longer. And obviously, if you have a body with a better back plate, also replace it. So in terms of leather, we could have done a much better job, but it's just a temporary solution for your camera to make it work, to make it look better than it was, and then you just move on whenever you have the parts ready to transform your camera, right? Let's see about this thing here. Let's see if we can actually get this off.